Mountain Mitsubishi of Hickory Service Department replaces brakes starting at only $220 per axle.
This is your look at local sports from across the Hickory Metro. I'm Jason Savage for WHKY News. We begin with Lenoir-Rhyne and their women's triathlon team, as the quest for a three-peat starts in August, as they have announced their 2024 schedule. The Bears have reached unprecedented heights for such a new program, competing in their inaugural season just 4 years ago. Lenoir-Rhyne Triathlon already has 2 national championships, 2022 and last season, 2023, plus a third-place finish in 2021, the first year they were eligible for championship competition. This year, LR will be competing in 2 local events, which will allow fans a chance to see the back-to-back national champions in action. They'll be traveling 45 minutes to Davidson to take part in the Lake Davidson Triathlon on Sunday, September 15th. And they'll head down to Lake Norman on Saturday, October 12th, to take part in the East Regionals. You can see the full schedule by going to our website at WHKY.com. With Appalachian State football being voted the preseason favorite in the Sun Belt Conference's East Division and quarterback Joey Aguilar being named the league's preseason Offensive Player of the Year, the Mountaineers would have 9 players selected for the preseason All Sun Belt Conference teams. App led the East Division teams with 96 voting points, 12 first-place votes from the league's 14 head coaches, followed by James Madison with 79 points and 2 first-place votes. Texas State would pace the West Division teams with 92 voting points and 9 first-place votes, followed by Troy, who had 4 first-place votes, and Louisiana, who picked up 1. Appalachian State participated in the Sun Belt Conference Media Day yesterday. Here's head coach Sean Clark talking about running backs. With him on the stand, quarterback Joey Aguilar and receiver Caden Robinson.
Well, we'd love to have a balanced football team. I think it keeps the defense off balance, but we're going to play to our strengths. And again, we brought Joey and Caden Robinson, who are one of the best duos in all of college football last year. If you remember last year, I said we had the most underrated receivers in the Sun Belt, which I do believe we did last year. And our receivers have kept it improving. We have a big-time quarterback, a talented arm who makes great decisions. But on the flip side of the things, we have great tight ends with Eli Wilson and David Larka and Max Drag, and the list goes on and on. We have a very deep running back with Kanye Roberts and Mikael Haywood, Anderson Castle, Armani Marshall. So there's only one football to go around, but we have to make sure we put the ball in our playmakers' hands. And that's one thing we identify as a staff throughout the offseason is who are our playmakers, how we're going to get the ball to them, and be intentional and be direct. It's how we're going to get the ball to Caden Robinson, how we're going to get to Christian Horn, Mekhi Jackson. And on the flip side, how we're going to get the ball to our running backs and tight ends. So I do believe we have a lot of weapons on offense, and we have to make sure we utilize those in the right way. And when it's time to get the ball in the playmakers' hands, we have to do that on a continuous basis this season.
And finally, the Hickory Crawdads have now won 4 straight after defeating the Greenville Drive at home last night by the final score of 7-5. Crawdads would use a 5-run 7th inning to push ahead for the win. Down 3-2 heading into the stretch, Hickory would start the inning with a Quincy Scott walk. He then would steal second. Jace Easley would then hit a line drive to center field, but an error by the Greenville center fielder allowed Scott to score and Easley to end up on second base. Easley would then steal his 14th base of the season, and Cam Cauley was walked. So with runners on the corners, Sebastian Walcott came up, hit a home run, pushing Hickory's lead at that point to 6-3. 1 out later, Ian Moeller would single. He would steal second base. Yesa Morabel was walked. That led to a Greenville pitching change. After the second out, Glider Figueroa was walked. That loaded the bases. Scott would come back up to the plate in this bottom of the 7th inning, and for the second time in the inning, he was walked. This time, he got an RBI. Because Moeller was on third, he would come home, and that would give the Crawdads their 7 runs. Greenville would make things interesting in the 8th with a pair of runs, but the win improves Hickory to 14-11 on the second half of the season, 42-49 overall. They'll remain at home facing the drive all this week. As always, much more can be found at our website, WHKY.com.